Morning. Wishing you all a happy new year. Hope you had a good Christmas and all the rest of it. So I'm starting off the year, as you can see behind me, in my greenhouse. I know people plant, I don't know if it's onions on Boxing Day. Missed that. But I'm starting off the year planting beans. Let me shut that. It's shut. And also I've just harvested some sweet potato, believe it or not. I'm normally sitting down, but the little stool that I have to sit on, usually in here, I've left at the allotment, which is schoolboy error number 1. So I've got to spend my days in here standing. I normally plant them outside November time, but the crop last year, I don't know, it just seemed to take an age to start to come out of the ground. So what I'm doing this year is I'm planting them in my greenhouse, and also which is heated at the moment, and the reason it's heated is to sweeten up my sweet potatoes. I forgot what the process is called. I'll put it on the screen, but they need a bit of heat and moisture to sweeten. So in my little greenhouse, which I'll show you in a sec, I've got my heat mats for planting my beans, and I've also got a little radiator to heat up the inside of the greenhouse and allow my sweet potato to do whatever it is I said on the screen a minute ago. So let me quickly show you. The first issue that I had was all of my plant trays melted. So my plant trays sitting here, and I guess over the summer, what was some intense heat that came in on this side and it melted every single, it's so annoying, you see there, it melted every single one of my trays, it melted every single one of my bases, and it melted every single, sorry, this is the cover, the clear it is, and it melted every single one of the black trays that sit inside. So that's the first issue. I've still got a pumpkin from last year, that's dinner later. And I've got some sweet corn drying, which I'll plant soon. It's the first time I've done all of this. First time I've dried sweet potato, sweet corn, sorry. And it's the first time I've saved seeds, so I'll show you some of the seeds I've saved as well. So as I say, unfortunately, all of my bases are melted. Which is a pain, and all of my lids are melted. But so this soil in my raised beds came from my sweet potato bin. So that's the soil I'm going to use to start these beans off. And the reason I'm using that soil is because it's quite enriched with some manure based fertiliser, so that is what I'm using to fill these. Tidy that up. Take all these big lumps out. And there we have it. Decent enough soil. I did actually just when I finished previously last year, I did actually just tip the soil from the sweet potatoes into these raised beds because I thought that's a nice little starter for them, and then I was going to chuck some more basically some food waste in the ground. So starting these beans, I better not do that on top of there. Starting these beans off, I can plant them. I plant them pretty deep, so I just make a indentation in each cell. Now these I've already planted. These are 48 of these. So I've only got 2 raised beds in my garden that I use at this time of year. And it's either onions that goes in them, sometimes garlic, which I didn't plant last year and I want to plant this year, and beans. So I'm going to plant quite a lot of beans because they go, once I harvest them, I freeze some, but they do go quite quick. As in, I use a lot when I put them in my food. So I'm going to plant quite a few this year. Previously I haven't planted loads because I haven't had great harvests, if I'm totally honest with you. But this year I'm learning from my mistakes. Hopefully this is the first year of a full year of a greenhouse, and it's also the first full year at my plot, so hopefully I'll be learning from my mistakes. I'm not going to show you the seed manufacturer, but these are Aqua Dulce. I think they were, I bought them this year. People talk about all sorts of ways to plant these because they do have, let's tip those out there. They do have this little slit. Some people say plant the slit down, but I tend to plant these sideways. So I'm just gonna, the only thing that you can do that I haven't done here is soak them overnight. But because I'm putting them on heated trays, I'm gonna give these like a really good water. Because obviously if they're heated trays, they'll tend to dry out a little bit more. So I'm going to give these a good water in now, and then also I'll be watering them consistently over the next couple of days. They should only take a week to sprout. Fingers crossed. So we shall see if that happens. If that happens, first lesson learned for the year. And these in there, just like that. Do you like my little watering can? I stole that from someone, but I'm sure she'll be fine with it. Aren't you, Bunsey? These were a good price actually. I think they were like £2.50 for, I think surely about 85 seeds. So in terms of what I'll manage to harvest from these, fingers crossed, even a bad harvest is well worth it. Excellent. As you can see, quite deep in the trays, and then I'll just basically cover these over the soil. Beautiful. Give these a quick water in, clear off my heated tray. I've actually got another one that I'm just going to put underneath, and I'll show you my sweet potatoes. Still one squash left from last year. And there you have it. That'll flatten out a little bit on the heated tray. Unfortunately, because of my melting issue that I talked about earlier, the lid doesn't quite fit on, which is actually a shame because I like it when they look like this. They started to show a bit of condensation, which doesn't happen if the lids don't fit properly, so I might have to replace those, which is a pain, but another lesson learned, I guess. Give them a decent soaking, and I'll make sure I keep them hydrated. And one rookie error I made, and I didn't know, you don't know these things, is I had I kept my plants heated. I kept my plants heated for too long after they germinated, not realising, you do your research afterwards, don't you, not realising that obviously these heated mats and things they're literally for germination, and then after that, plants survive. All these things that you think you'd know. Lid on that. Yeah, he's not going to fit properly, is he? Which is a shame. But away you go. Now for the sweet potatoes, which are in here. There's my little radiator that's heating them. They're in this bucket. This is I use this every year for. This is like a old. This one, it will harvest the sweet potatoes. More for not a novelty than anything else, but yeah, this is one of those cooler bags that keeps the moisture in, and it keeps it nice and warm as well once the temperature gets warm enough for them. So that's my little harvest of sweet potatoes. Will I plant them again this year? Probably not, just based on how much space they took up. I planted them in a bucket, as you know, last year. They took up a lot of space in here, and the return isn't that great. Although there isn't much you have to do, to be fair, with sweet potatoes. You just chuck them in and water them every now and again. So toss up. I don't think I will, but I might do. You never know. It's very easy to plant, isn't it? But and the reason I did them lastly was because I had the greenhouse and it was a bit warmer, so I wanted to see if my yield would be better than previous years because of the temperature over here. It's a little better, but not much. So yeah, stuff to have to think about.